So grasslands by definition are lands made up of a lot of grasses, and I'm going to talk about the different types of grasses in a minute. That's just a geography input. I want you to learn that grasslands are kind of like the middle biome. They're between deserts and forest. In both temperature and rainfall, they fall in the middle. So if you look at this diagram, a desert is here for extreme temperatures of heat. Tundra is over here for cold. Grasslands are kind of in the middle. Prairies being the colder of the two, and savannas the warmer. Same with forests. Tropicals are warmer. Boreal forests are colder. This is also known as coniferous forest. And then in terms of precipitation, this is the lowest level of precipitation. This is the highest, and grasslands would be in the middle. There are two types of grasslands. Temperate grasslands are basically grasslands made up of rolling hills, plains, and sod-forming grasses. Examples of temperate grasslands are prairies, pampas, and steppes. The soil in these grasslands are primarily very fertile. They call these the breadbasket, this biome the breadbasket of the world, because most cereals or foods come from this biome. This biome is mainly where crops are grown and wheat is grown. Tropical grasslands are quite different. They are dry shrublands to open woodlands, so the grasses here look extremely different. A savanna is an example of a tropical grassland. Plants are obviously the most abundant species grass is the most abundant species in a grassland. In terms of plants, that is extreme characteristics. The grass, however, is very, very different, and this allows for a variety of niches in the grassland. There is going to be some scattered trees, and you want to reference this tree as a tree that you see in a grassland biome. The trees are going to have characteristics to defend themselves against herbivores, because herbivores are the primary consumers, and since it's primarily grass, there's a lot of them. Because there's seasons in the temperate grassland, you're going to have grasses dying, and then the soil will regenerate. So the soil is primarily fertile soil, and that's why we use it to grow crops. Animals, again, as I mentioned before, are mostly herbivores. They have developed specialized niches in order to avoid competition, because grass is their primary food source. So, for example, here we have animals that are going to feed off tall trees, such as a giraffe. These are going to eat long grasses. These will eat grasses close to the ground, and you see that little patch of grass. And then you have other animals that also feed close to the ground. They just eat different types of grasses. This is grass that is spread out versus grass that is clumped. Fires are actually a good factor of this biome, because they should happen sporadically, not so often, but the fire actually helps regenerate soil. All the decomposition that takes place after will bring nutrients back to the soil and revive the biome. This is a major threat to the biome. It's called desertification. It's basically the conversion of a grassland to a desert. And there's many things that can lead to this process, but some are overgrazing of animals. Drought is a key contributing factor, or climate change leads to the drought episodes, and poor farming techniques will also contribute to desertification. We're going to get into that topic when we get into the land chapter. Coniferous forests can also be referenced as taiga or boreal forests. These are forests that have trees that are cone-bearing or needle-like. Here's just a sample of areas where you can find coniferous forests. Coniferous forests have heavy precipitation, but it mainly comes down as snow because the biome is very cold. Summers are warm, but they are short, and the sun will last 19 hours. Winters are actually long, and that's the primary season of this biome, and the sun lasts 6 to 8 hours. Plants of the coniferous forest are referenced as evergreen trees or evergreen plants. They are needle-like or cone-bearing. Here's an example of needle-like. This is what you reference as your Christmas tree, or cone-bearing trees. They do have these small wax, the needles have waxy coats on the leaves, and this wax allows the trees to withstand the extreme temperatures that can take place during the long winters. Decomposition is relatively slow. Anywhere you have a biome that is lacking temperatures or heat, decomposition will be slow. But when needles do fall to the ground, remember they're evergreen trees, so needles rarely are lost by season. They just fall due to like heavy snowfall. It's full of this acidity, so the needles, when they do decompose, will cause soil to be acidic and nutrient poor. So when you reference the soil of a coniferous forest, the topsoil, or the layer of closest to the top layer of land, is very nutrient poor. Animals in the coniferous forest, there's very few species because of the harsh conditions, like the long winters and then the short summers, but they will be migratory animals coming in and out of the biome. The animals that do live there will have thick fur and form burrows for warmth. Deforestation is a critical factor to affect the coniferous forest or boreal forests. Plants are cut down continuously at specific times of the year to provide Christmas trees. Also, the timber of these forests is essential for many materials made. So deforestation is a critical factor.